Joined now by Sung-Yoon Lee. He is a scholar of Korean and East Asian studies and a specialist on the DPRk. So I want to get your reaction first to these reports of the DPRk launching this projectile. Japan saying that it landed in its exclusive economic zone. What does this latest move signal, and how, if anything, will it affect talks this weekend?
Well, the latest missile test, if the reports are true that it actually landed in Japan's exclusive economic zone, would be among the 11 such tests this year alone since May 4th, the longest projectile, the longest flight. What North Korea has achieved is to compel the United States, through repetition without any repercussion, to regard these tests, short-range missiles, as routine, as a fact of life. And when you consider the scorecard, what has taken place since the historic summit meeting in Singapore in June 2018, North Korea has built probably close to a dozen more bombs. North Korea has watered down the political will to enforce sanctions against the DPRk. North Korea has conditioned the United States to disregard short-range ballistic missiles. What next? Medium-range, intercontinental range, intermediate range first, and so on. So North Korea is very adept, in my view, at playing this psychological mind trick against the United States.
So what do you make of the timing of it, though? And could there be a chance that these talks won't happen because of this?
No, because in my view, North Korea, Kim Jong-un, the moment that he made the proposition for a historic summit meeting back in March 2018 to President Trump, and President Trump impulsively agreed to it, I think North Korea has ensnared, really, the Trump administration in this open-ended, never-ending process of negotiations during which North Korea buys more time to do what it really seeks. So there's great incentive to have which go on the part of North Korea and the U.S. And I think North Korea will now sue for a peace agreement, which sounds marvelous. You know, if there's genuine political will to better relations, to end hostilities, then a peace treaty or peace agreement is a wonderful thing. But a peace agreement can also be a historical canard. It can be a ruse, and it will lead to conditions calling for, triggering demands for the withdrawal of U.S. troops from South Korea, and that favors North Korea.
So are these working level talks scheduled for this weekend? Are they even significant if you take into account who's involved? What do they mean? I mean, we don't even know the location of where this would take place, who would host these talks.
Well, they would be significant, more so for North Korea, but also for the United States, because President Trump would be able to sell whatever agreement, interim deal that comes of these meetings as a political victory towards denuclearizing North Korea. And again, use the agreement as the reins with which to further trap President Trump. So whatever becomes of the meetings remains to be seen. But I think the United States, even back in Hanoi, back in February, was amenable to signing a peace agreement, was amenable to maybe perhaps even discussing the withdrawal of a few thousand U.S. troops from the region. We know the U.S. and South Korea have suspended, canceled since June 2018. So I think the dynamics are working in North Korea's favor.
All right, Professor Sung-Yoon Lee, thank you so much for joining us from Boston.